Top 5 little-known facts about Anglo-Saxons. 1. The continental Saxons remained pagans for centuries. Thanks to itinerant monks from Rome and very active monks from Ireland, Anglo-Saxons Britain began to convert to Christianity shortly after the founding of the Kingdom of Kent in the 5th century. Anglo-Saxon Christians founded monasteries throughout England, wrote beautiful poems dedicated to God and the heroes of their pagan past, and built magnificent stone churches, some of which are still in use today. While the Anglo-Saxons in Britain embraced Christianity, their brethren on the continent, in other words, the rest of Europe, did not. During the 8th and 9th centuries, the Saxon pagans remained an eyesore for the Germanic kings who remained loyal to Rome. Chief among these kings was the Frankish ruler Charlemagne. Beginning in 772, the Franks and other missionaries pursued a hostile policy to eradicate Saxon paganism. In 773 ST, Boniface, himself an Anglo-Saxon Christian from Devonshire, cut down the Taurus oak, Irminsul, to proclaim the superiority of Christianity over paganism. The Saxon natives responded by killing Boniface. Ultimately, Charlemagne's quest to eradicate Saxon paganism succeeded. No movement symbolizes this bloody victory as much as the mass murder of some 4,500 pagan Saxons in October 782. 2. Anglo-Saxon pirates had ravaged the British coast for centuries. Often overlooked is the fact that the Anglo-Saxons had earlier contact with Roman Britain, beginning their migrations in the 5th century AD. Around the 3rd century AD, Saxon pirates raided the British coast. These raids proved so costly that the Roman army in Britain had to build a chain of forts stretching from Norfolk to Hampshire. These crenellated walls were called the Saxon coast after their enemy. In AD 285, Carausius, a Roman general of Belgian origin, was ordered by his general, the future emperor, to stop the Saxon piracy in Britain. Maximian. Although Carausius was successful, he was accused of conspiring with the pirates to obtain a share of their booty. Not only did Carausius refute these charges, but he also renounced his allegiance to Maximian and declared himself emperor of Britain. For years after the defeat of Carausius and the restoration of Roman rule in Britain, Saxon pirates in flatboats continued to terrorize the English Channel, the North Sea, and the Baltic Sea. 3. Many Saxon warriors were trained in the Roman army. The Anglo-Saxon invasions of Britain are usually described as a barbaric victory over a more civilized culture. Undoubtedly, the Romano-British elite was more educated and cultured, at least by Roman standards, than the Anglo-Saxon nobility. Moreover, while Romano-British had access to baths, books, and cities, Anglo-Saxons lived in villages, were largely illiterate, and usually lived as farmers or pirates. However, the Saxons were familiar with a particular Roman institution, the Roman army. Because they were known as fierce warriors, the Saxons of northern Germany and southern Denmark were massively recruited into the Roman army. Indeed, the Romans were all too well aware of the fighting prowess of the Saxons, for in the 3rd century AD Saxon tribes, along with other Germanic groups such as the Frisians, Jutes, and Angles, frequently raided Roman camps in Gaul and near the border with unconquered Germany. From the point of view of the Romans, the Saxons, along with their close allies the Franks, were particularly troublesome because they not only attacked Roman soldiers on land, but also liked to disrupt Roman shipping lines near the English Channel. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, Roman Britain was left completely undefended. The only remaining fighters who could have contained the invading Picts and Gaels were Britons trained by the Romans. It is likely that the Saxons were invited by the Roman British because they also served in the Roman army. Historical sources often overlook the fact that many of the invading Angles, Saxons, and Jutes were already living in Britain because they were stationed there as members of the late Roman army. 4. Anglo-Saxon warriors fought for the Byzantine Empire. Like all ancient Germanic peoples, the Anglo-Saxons lived in a culture that revered warriors and military discipline. Anglo-Saxon warriors usually fought in small groups of about 100 men. Anglo-Saxon armies preferred spears, bows, and axes as weapons. In many ways they were not too different from their Viking enemies. In fact, both cultures participated in blood feuds, tribal conflicts, and the art of sea raids. Usually most students of history lose interest in the Anglo-Saxons after their defeat at the Battle of Hastings. After years of fighting the Danish and Norse Vikings, the Anglo-Saxons of England were defeated by the French descendants of the Norse Vikings. According to common lore, the Normans established themselves as a separate class by promoting a Norman dialect of French instead of Old English. Except in the countryside, where most peasants continued to speak their own language, Anglo-Saxon culture was completely absorbed into Anglo-French culture. This reading is not only wrong in many ways, but also overlooks the fact that many Anglo-Saxon refugees fled England in search of greener pastures. Many Anglo-Saxon warriors offered their services to the Byzantine Empire. These warriors were part of the legendary Varangian Guard, a Byzantine military unit largely associated with the Vikings of Kievan Rus. While Vikings tend to get most of the glory as far as battle prowess is concerned, Anglo-Saxons, especially the warrior elite known as the Huscarls, were in-demand warriors who participated in battles throughout Europe and Asia. 5. Anglo-Saxon Christianity was almost destroyed by the pagan king. During the first decades of the Anglo-Saxon invasion of Britain, the Anglo-Saxons, who were pagans, exterminated the indigenous Christian population. By the 7th century, however, many Anglo-Saxons were converting en masse to Christianity. Nevertheless, there were pagan protests. In the Kingdom of Mercia, which was located in what is now the English Midlands, a formidable ruler named Penda almost upset the balance of power in favor of Anglo-Saxon paganism. In 628, King Penda established his political supremacy after defeating the Saxon kingdom of Wish at the Battle of Cirencester. After the victory, Penda not only annexed the territory of Wish, but with the Welsh leader Cadwallon of Gwynedd he also invaded the powerful kingdom of Northumbria and killed Christian King Edwin in 632. This victory not only made the Kingdom of Mercia the most powerful in all of England, but it also helped paganism briefly supplant Christianity as the preferred religion among the Anglo-Saxons. Although King Penda was known for his barbarism and cruelty, he did not completely abolish Christianity in his kingdom. However, because of his success, other princes returned to the old faith to gain favor. Penda's victory over Oswald of Northumbria at the Battle of Matherfield in 641 helped extend pagan rule until Penda was killed at the Battle of Winwood in 655. After the battle, the Christian Northumbrians not only regained their dominance in the north and the Midlands, but, according to historian Charles Plummer, they finally destroyed Anglo-Saxon paganism once and for all.